Hey there, a little bit of a long time no see. But yeah, as you can probably see from the title, I just want to get back on my favorite topic, which, I mean, if you guys have been following this completely obscure channel for some time, you would have probably seen the fact that a lot of my videos, especially in the kind of like in this channel's early stages, were about this topic, and that's PEDs. By the way, sorry for the ambient noises. It's just that I left the window open because probably as Neil Pickup would say, it's hot as a mother fluffer. So yeah. That being said, I will not, at least for now, reiterate through any of the things that I previously said on this channel about PEDs. If you are interested in hearing a lot more of my thoughts on this subject, which, by the way, haven't changed, so they're still up to date as they can be, go check my playlist for, PEDs and also other playlists. But now that we're on the subject, go check my other videos. So I'm not gonna reiterate through those, and also I will not touch on multiple things from what has been said in the recent re drama. Ever since we had the otherwise very very nice and very honest and open video from Ryan, but obviously a lot of people started the discussion again, and it all spiraled up into yet another monster. So I just wanted to basically touch on this idea, which, by the way, is not new, and it is not coming from arm wrestling. It is much older. It comes from bodybuilding, especially, primarily, but also from other sports. And that idea is, after 2.5 minutes of rambling, here's what I want to say. People keep saying that, even if you would take PEDs out of the sport completely, and everyone would be natural, still the guys who are today on top with or on gear would still be the number ones without gear. It's almost like, people have this tendency to oversimplify things, and it's like, whether everyone is on gear or not on gear, the landscape is pretty much the same. You just have like a constant component being added to it, or just like a multiplication factor, but pretty much the number ones will be the number ones, the unsuccessful will be the unsuccessful, and whatever, everywhere in between, same goes for everyone. Nothing further from the truth. Dare I remind you that most of the times, people who look, natural people who look like they're already a specimen, and people keep saying, if that guy or that girl would jump on gear, they would be, probably the elite amongst the elite, and other people who just look like crap or are generally with amongst the lowest performers. If they jump on gear, they would probably be amongst those guys who basically up their dosage and they're just the average gym rat, while not attaining any cool physique, or if it's arm wrestling, any strength results, any power results, whatever. Completely false. A lot of times, I don't want to say most of the times, but a lot of times, the elite, which becomes elite on gear, comes from that batch of people who, without gear, look like they're the bottom of the barrel. There are two components that people kind of mash up together and they use interchangeably, It's the responsiveness when people talk about, hyper responders or whatever. And there's the tolerance, which is obviously just how tolerant you are to drugs, because you could be, responding great or not so great. But what is allowing you to keep on doing those things for years and years on end without basically exhibiting severe side effects or potentially death, while other people doing the same thing as you just apparently have no problem, or their problems will reveal themselves much later in their lives. That is attributed to tolerance. But when it comes to responsiveness, a lot of times the hyper responders are not the ones who already look jacked and you can kind of see they already have it in their genes and whatever. No, actually, like I said, and if you think about it, it kind of makes sense up to some degree. On one hand, it makes sense for the guys who are already jacked naturally to be thought as being the ones who would be on top if they take gear. But a lot of times, those people actually have very marginal, increases in muscle mass or any other metric, whilst exhibiting severe side effects, which means that actually they're very gifted by nature, but they're already very close to their genetic peak, their genetic potential, and their responsiveness is therefore hindered. And while on the other hand, their tolerance is actually very, very low. They start exhibiting things quite soon in their career. While on the other hand, the people who, like I said, look like they're buck something, or they're very fat or non-athletic by nature or whatever. A lot of times you have the pleasant or unpleasant surprise, depending how you look at it, to find out that bookworm or that completely atrophied guy, or that guy who looks like he would never get into any sort of shape, not to mention competitional shape. Those guys kind of have their genetic potential not only hidden but laying dormant and actually severely pushed back and kind of like closed in. And once that gear kicks in and their body tastes something which it hasn't ever been in their system, and they get exposed to something which probably they don't have. So maybe they have the genetics to be very responsive, but they don't have the genetics for being for having very good hormonal levels, or other metrics of biochemistry. And I kind of touched upon this in some of my videos, but like I said, I don't want to repeat my thoughts. Those guys, once they start having those things in their system, they actually go from zero to hero. So it's not just a matter of how responsive you are. It's also a matter of how tolerant you are, first of all, because even if you're super highly responsive, if you start having side effects within like the first months, or sometimes even weeks or days, or let's say on average the first few years of your career, you'll have a very short round around the block, if I may say so. While on the other hand, someone who might not be as responsive, they have a very, very high tolerance, and they can do that thing for decades, and slowly but surely they basically raise to the top. Probably not being the cream of the crop, but yeah, certainly they reach much higher peaks than the hyper responders who have to quit way too early. Now, going back to my thought, and probably I'll close in with this thing. Again, people look and they they say, the guys who already, naturally look like they've been, I mean, they have the potential to be elite, or let's say in the natural, truly natural circles, they are at the very top. You put those guys on gear, they would be the number ones overall, or at least at the very top. Not true. Completely not true. Without pointing any fingers or naming any names, without dropping any bombs here, bombs, not bums. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, whatever. Without doing any of that thing, just think of your favorite, let's say, elites who are obviously on gear, and look in their past. Were they already at the top? Were they already amongst the elite of the naturals? Absolutely the contrary. Most of the times we have seen people who are natural or very, very close to being natural, meaning, I mean, don't get me started on the binary aspect of being natural or not natural. But still, I mean, people who basically just have a more, let's say, elevated supplementation. Maybe they tried things once or twice, but mainly stuck to the, I don't know, creatine, protein, amino acids, and that's it. And yeah, probably, like I said, once or twice, maybe some peptides, some SARMs or whatever, or they tried TRT or whatever. Those people, were actually at the peak of their game while being natural, and nothing much has changed. Probably, I mean, yeah, they kind of got that boost to allow them to be competitively relevant in the superweight division. But I mean, some of the guys who are amongst the heavyweights or superweights nowadays, they come from a genetical background in terms of, back when they were natural. Not that they ever said they're not natural, but I mean, you all kind of know what's up. If you go back like 5 years, 10 years ago, for some people even, not that long ago, just 2 or 3 years ago, basically they were looking almost like me. Sometimes even worse, sometimes a bit better, but average, skinny, kind of marginally athletic looking dude who all of a sudden just exploded and gained like 100 plus pounds, all while, I mean, figuring out the magnificent recipe of chicken breast, rice and broccoli, and getting their shit together, and basically just sleeping well and taking care of their rest and hydration, and give me a break. All in all, I just wanted to kindly remind people that with or without gear, the landscape is absolutely not guaranteed to be the same at all. Some of the most predominant names that we've all been, accustomed with throughout the past decade or so would probably not be even like in the discussion, because I don't want to start saying top 10, top 20, top 50, whatever. They would probably be marginally average or slightly above average. If, for example, you just press a button and P.E.Ds would have never existed. Contrary to, let's say, everyone all of a sudden becomes geared up, which we're not that far off, from. But I mean, switching on the other side of the spectrum, again, the guys who are already on gear and are already, the number ones and whatever, they would absolutely not keep being the number ones. Probably they would still be around, but I guarantee you that a lot of people whom we haven't even heard of at this point, who are still natural, and probably they'll keep being natural and keep being completely irrelevant for the rest of their careers. If they would have been on gear, they would have exploded way past what we've seen up until this point. So anyway, that's just my view on the topic and life in general and the world. Feel free to disagree and leave me hopefully polite comments in the section down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree with this? And like I said, check out all my other videos on P.E.Ds, on different subjects. But yeah, this is something that I always enjoy discussing without blaming anyone or pointing fingers or whatever. But yeah, this is a very dear subject to me. And yeah, just as a closing note, I'm absolutely, let's say 100%, not even 99% sure that I'm one of those guys who, although are a bit or maybe a lot, I have no idea, I haven't reached my peak at all in any way, shape or form, gifted naturally, my tolerance is absolutely zero, if not even on the negative side. So back when I was like 15, 16, I was beginning training really hard. I already looked jack and super whatever. People were asking me, what are you on? I wasn't on anything. And then the same old speculation started. Imagine if you would start gearing up. Imagine if you do this or if you do that. Fast forward a few years into my early 20s. I touched upon this probably, I don't even remember, many moons ago in some of my earlier videos. And yeah, basically as soon as I started testing some protein shakes, just once some creatine and some milk and egg, whatever amino acids, I basically started going downhill so fast. I basically was in and out of the emergency room. Not just because those things were of very poor quality, people making fun of, supplementation being made somewhere in a bathtub or whatever. Probably that was also the case, who knows? But I mean, with me, pretty much no matter what I was trying out, whether it was like the highest quality protein or the lowest quality, side effects were the same. My system basically just doesn't accept foreign and synthetic stuff in general. Just, I mean, even with the vitamins and minerals, if they come from the pharmacy, I don't care if they're made for kids or for the average mom and dad. Just when the cold season's here, they want to immune boost their asses and whatever. That thing just doesn't work for me. I start having all sorts of things you wouldn't even think about, from digestive problems to all sorts of shit. You think I'm having adverse reaction to Trenbolone or some weird shit while I'm just trying to basically eat a protein bar or something like that. So this is how it is for me. I know the image is getting darker and darker. I apologize. But it's basically not the image that counts. Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm absolutely one of those guys. I mean, if I have such a low tolerance to just mere supplementation, I don't even want to imagine what would happen if I'd inject some shit. I mean, I'd probably be dead within the hour or something like this. No thank you. Anyway, once again, and I'm promising I'll close it this time, don't think that with or without gear the landscape would be the same. Completely false. Till next time, please let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'm out. See ya.